Here we go, off cleanly. Niels van der Putten normally gets a pretty good start in the middle. He has Van Turenhout just tucking in behind him. Ryan Camp also right there in the green. Lars van der Haar with a better start this time, up alongside Van der Putten, who seemed to be in there first. We had a crash in the women's race right here in that first muddy section, and thankfully I think the men have just about negotiated it, nearly, very nearly.
I think that last rider might have just had to crash out on the edge there, but yeah, it's really tough there because the ruts go into together, and if you don't see the rut coming and you fall out of it, then you just have to kind of bounce off the other people. And Wout Van Aert is already up into third spot behind.
Wow, where did he come from?
Behind the leading Sweek.
And yeah, as a result, Van der Putten took over the series lead of the Telenet Super Prestige, but he's going to have his work cut out today as well. He's got a reasonable amount of points though, because Lars van der Haar is in second on 69 points, Niels van der Putten on 74 points. So Monday night's winner, Lauren Sweek, under the floodlights of Diegem, is leading, but leading from Wout Van Aert, who so many people have tipped to get his opening win of the season here. It is a course that should suit him as well. Helen, I'd have thought.
It should absolutely suit him. It's a power course. There's lots of mud straights. Often running. I'm not really sure how he runs this year. We haven't really seen that. As we see Felipe Orts there in the third spot. And the Spanish national champion should also be really good on this course. But Sweek is the man of form right now. He's focused. If he's unable to come back to this front group, which I think he'll put everything into. Like yesterday, he got back to 10th, which was a really impressive result when he lost a minute and a half on the first lap. And I think he'll be able to come back towards around 5th spot, and it's then really what wears Lars van der Haar out, because there's only 1 point difference per place, so you get 15 points for a win, and then it's a 1 point down to 15th spot. And over this block, he's just had like 2-3 races where he's had loads of incidents, which is very unlikely.
Yeah, just in case any of you who have tuned in just for the men's race and missed the women's race, I did point out in there that, in case you're not aware, Mathieu van der Poel is out for the moment until, I believe, the week before Worlds. Now, Helen, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll maybe come back to it in a moment, but certainly not going to be here. He wasn't ever due to be here today. Won't be with us tomorrow either.
Here comes Wout to the front of the race now. Yeah. It looks like he's decided that this is time to have a go and see what he's capable of doing. Last year, we saw him back off a bit in the beginning of races and he said in an interview that he didn't have the power to ride like Mathieu for the whole race, but he did have 2 or 3 laps like that. And when he did ride like with the power that we know he's capable of, he got every single skill perfectly. And when he didn't, he made so many mistakes, and it's almost like he's incapable of riding the skill at a slower pace than what he's been brought up to do.
Leading into the last lap is a 3-time world champion. Wout van Aert leads from Eli Iserbyt. I wasn't entirely sure we were going to see that duo out front. At the moment, they're well clear as well. So they are clear of Michael van Turenhout, who's also clear of Joran Weissura as well. But we're going to watch so closely these 2 Belgians. There are only 3 non-Belgians in the top 10 currently. They're Cameron Mason, who was riding in 10th place, Ryan Camp, who's moved up to 8th, and Felipe Orts, of course, the Spanish champion, who was in 7th place. Let's watch them come across the line. Joran Weissura here still in 4th place. All Belgian top 4 as we look at it. And Eli Iserbyt has used that left-hander into that wide, broad dogleg there to get back on terms with Wout Van Aert. This is going to be a good battle over this final lap, I think, Helen.
Yeah, I think so too. And that was the fastest lap of the race so far. They did a 7:25 and 7:26 together there, which was only a few seconds faster than Wout's faster lap before then. But these 2 are fully on the rivet at this point, as we see Iserbyt come over, and Iserbyt's going to want to try and push the sections that he knows he can push. The straight lines, Van Aert is going to be stronger than him, and that's the best we've seen Iserbyt ride that section so far today, as he cuts into that corner tight and tries to accelerate going up this bank.
2 completely different lines through there, but this is the first time in a couple of laps that we've seen Iserbyt on the front, and he's trying to use every bit of his lightweight advantage to try and extend the lead on Wout Van Aert, but right now it is not working. Van Aert just able to sit with him close behind as well, and we're going to see possibly, I guess, there's room for some dive bombing and tactical opportunities here between these two. At the moment, neither of them is shaking the other off, which is great, Helen. It's what we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And Isabet takes those corners way tighter than Wout, and he accelerates out of the saddle as we see him now. And Wout is much more of a sit in the saddle kind of rider. He did accelerate then to get back to Isabet's wheel, but he's much more of a drive it at the front kind of seated power as we see him come around and again into this section that we know is good for Van Aert.
Well, let's not forget, Wout Van Aert was in the position ready to take a podium finish in his first race, his last race, the only other race he's ridden this season in Lernout, until he, well, I think it looked to me like he crashed into the barrier. He said, and others have said, that he actually hit a fan, but I'm still yet to see a sign that he actually hit a fan at the side there, but it was certainly very close. It was unlucky, and he ended up in fourth on that occasion, so off the podium. Podium highly likely now today on this final lap, but will it be first or second? And how far back is Michael Van Turenhout now as well? We need to keep a little bit of an eye on that as we're into the barriers for the final time. Both cleanly over. Little front wheel kiss from Wout Van Aert as he went over, and seemingly happy to let Elisabeth take the lead now at the moment.
I think Isabet is better on that section. You know, he is racing all year round. He is practicing those skills, and so Isabet wants to go ahead as well. They just really want to suck it to each other this entire lap, because it's important to lead into lots of sections, but it's also, you don't necessarily want to be in the front in other sections. And so for this section here coming into the sandpit, we know Wout's super strong. He can just accelerate in this pit today, whereas Isabet has to use his power, use his speed coming in, use his technique, and then this section is where Wout is really, really good on these longer straights together.
Yeah, the crowd are absolutely loving this. I have to say, it's very clear as they come down there that the biggest cheer is for Wout Van Aert. There's no point trying to hide away from that. Elisabeth, the Belgian champion, so well known to these fans, but Wout Van Aert is always the big draw in this current era in particular. Even bigger in terms of the crowd, even more popular than Mathieu van der Poel, who is, of course, let's not forget, Dutch, despite the fact that he lives and was born in Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. But Wout van Aert is the big draw with this crowd, Helen, isn't he?
He is. He's such a fan favourite. You know, he's a great character as well. He's married into cyclocross legacy with the Bean family. You know, he's a bit of a superstar, isn't he? As we see Isabet here have to take a foot out. Just means he's lost the wheel a little bit.
Problem. Yep. Yeah. Not sure what's happened there, Helen, but he looked like he was just struggling either get a foot in or get back on the power, and well, that was not a good moment for Isabet.
Yeah, so took his foot out there to go around the corner as he kicked his foot down, and as he did that, you get mud in your shoe. He tries to click back in and he's not there, and because he wasn't clicked in, he probably got out of the saddle to sprint, but he wasn't able to, and so that's when this little gap has formed at this point in the race.
Wout Van Aert is leading the Hexia Cross in Hillegom, the penultimate round of the Telenet Super Prestige Cyclocross. It's me, Jez Cox, and Helen Wyman bringing you this as we watch Elisabeth, the Belgian champion. That might be it. He didn't quite get up the ramp. He's just stepped back and come to a complete standstill. The Belgian champion at the moment making little mistakes on this final lap while under pressure from the three-time world champion Wout Van Aert, who at the moment looks like he is riding away with this one, Helen. Can he hold that gap?
Yeah, absolutely. This is it. Isabet's made too many mistakes. His head's going to go down. He's not going to be able to come back and close that gap.
Yeah, he's fighting all the way, but he'll know it. Have we seen Wout Van Aert make any mistakes yet this race? I can't think of any. No.
No, he slid around a lot, the same as Isabet has, but you know, the pressure he's applying, this is what he's so good at, these straight lines. He's so good at putting that power down, and Isabet's out the saddle trying to close the gap, but as soon as that gap has gone, it's really tough to get close to that wheel again. And yeah, Wout's got this now.
Oh, listen to the crowd. They are absolutely loving this. Wout Van Aert is onto the steps. I mean, Elisabeth's not far off it, the Belgian champion. Both of them making this last lap so hard. It'll be interesting to see how this lap time compares to that very fast penultimate lap. But look at the fans. This is what they've come to see, and they're getting it. Absolutely in spade calls here from Wout Van Aert, who's laying it on. He may not be doing it in quite the Mathieu van der Poel style of leading from the off and just distancing everyone, but right now, if you look at the gap behind them, Elisabeth has had a brilliant ride today, but even he is into the pits, Helen, on this last lap.
Yeah, he can see that he's not able to close that gap, and so he wants a light bike, he wants not a dirty bike, just in case something happens at the front and he's able to get back up to it. But he had plenty of a gap between him and Michael Van Toorn out here, we just seen through come through the pit in 3rd spot. So you can see he's given up. He's not going to win this race.
Yeah, it's looking like we're going to get a Pal Salzen, Sibel Clementine's 2-3. But the 3-time world champion in yellow and black, one of those killer bees, the Visma Lease bike rider, Wout Van Aert, is looking like he is going to be the winner. Having the time there to wipe his face, and he'll be zipping up the very top of that jersey because he's not miles ahead of Elizabeth, but just keep us going, and he will be the winner here.
Yeah, and he had a dribble on his chin. So
yes, he did. Well, I wouldn't want to put, dribble, we'll call it. Is that a technical term, Ellen? Yeah. Well, that mud's got nasty there now, hasn't it? That really is proper gloopy now. It's fully thawed. I think we can forget the thought of it being frozen. It is cold, but someone is not just warm, he's red hot, and it's this guy, Wout Van Aert. I think we'll see a smile coming up soon, but that's been a killer hard last 2 laps. He's done it, he's back, and he's loving it, as are we.